What is up, Cinders? Welcome back to Chicken Cindy's. Today we're going to find out if the $250 gravel bike can handle single track trails. Before we get on the trails though, I got a few little upgrades I'm going to do to the bike. I have ridden this bike a little bit around town now, and I have kind of realized what I would like to do and not like to do, just like to start with. So those are some pretty nice pins. I got these Paul Revere, off of Amazon. They didn't seem too expensive. I think they're like $20 or $30. But I mean, just look like some nice flat pedals. I like the black. I like the gold pins. They got little like actual bolts. They're not just screwed in. It's kind of hard to see, but there's actually nuts there that the pins screw into, which is pretty cool. So we're gonna do that. I have learned that this saddle is just no good for me. I don't know if it's just my sit bones or what it is, but holy cow, that saddle is no dice. So went with a spoon charge. Got this, another budget-friendly option. I really like the tan. I think the tan's gonna look super good with the tan tires. So we're gonna put that bad boy on here in a minute. And then I got a box to open, so I'll open this real quick. Shouldn't take too long. But I figured since I'm gonna be switching the saddle out, I might as well get a new seat post. Nothing really wrong with this seat post. I just really don't like the way this one adjusts. So figured we would just slap a new seat post in since we're gonna be changing the actual saddle as well. So let's change this stuff and I'll be back in just a minute. Letting the interest get the better of me. Weight-wise, original is 2.28 pounds and 36.5 ounces. So pounds was 2.28. The new one is 1.65. That's about a half pound difference. 26.4 ounces, 1.65. When you pick them up and hold them, you can kind of definitely tell there's a weight difference. This has got to be aluminum. That's got to be steel for sure. But little weight savings for you for not a lot of money. So half pound give or take, pretty cool. I didn't necessarily expect this to be almost a half a pound different. So that's kind of a nice little weight savings and upgrade. So the saddle is like $30 if I recall. The seat post was like $10 or $15. I mean, not super expensive. And I didn't really do that for weight savings. I did that because the stock saddle is just no good for me. So I really like the tan on it though. I think it kind of brings the olive green almost. I wish I could remember what color it is. I'll put it here in the corner what the description says. But with that and the brown and then the gold pins on these pedals, that's pretty sharp looking. I'm really happy with how those little upgrades turned out. So nothing super crazy. But I was really struggling with where to actually take this bike trail-wise. I thought about Griffin. I thought about going to the local trails over by Charleston, but where I think I'm going to take it is Camp Canfield. It's another local trail system by me. Pretty cross-country oriented and friendly in the sense of like climbs and things like that. So I thought this would be a really good trail system to try this bike on. So I'm going to record with my GoPro. I've not used my GoPro for a while. I've been using my Insta360. So we'll do the GoPro today. And the next thing you see, we will be at Camp Canfield. All right, so we are officially out at Camp Canfield. We're gonna just ride for a little while, get some miles, see how she does. Beautiful day today, holy cow. Absolutely gorgeous day. Dude, it feels pretty good on the trail so far. I mentioned at the beginning of the video I have a few rides on this bike now, and I do. Done a ride with Sprocket on my back in the canine sack. Just done some miles around town. More road riding just to make sure it's shifting and feeling okay. And I'll say out of the box, it honestly feels pretty good. This is the 50 centimeter one. I am 5 foot 10 inches with about a 32-inch inseam. And I will say this bike fits me stock pretty well. I was a little nervous over the stem being too long, but the stem actually feels really nice for my height. I guess my arm length puts me at a pretty comfortable length. I don't feel like I'm overstretched. I don't feel like I'm crowded. I mean, overall, I'd say the fit of this bike is very, very nice for me. It's definitely a medium. I think if you're 6 foot, you're getting a little taller than that, I think this 50 centimeter will probably crowd you a little bit. But I'd say 5'8"-ish to 5'10"-ish. That's probably the sweet spot for this bike. For the short distance I've traveled already, I'm telling you a huge difference in saddle comfortability, just switching it out to this budget-friendly option from Amazon. I would say it's a pretty significant difference in comfortability. This isn't usually the brand of saddle I ride. I usually ride Ergons, but I figured for this bike specifically, I couldn't justify spending $80 to $100 for a saddle. But on the topic of contact points, these new pedals are very nice so far. I'm not having any foot slippage or anything like that, which is terrific. Oh, got a little climb right here. So they feel really nice compared to the stock ones, which are just your basic plastic little nub stock pedals, nothing super crazy. Honestly, like the tape and stuff on the shifters and the handlebar area, I think the tape's pretty nice. It's a little squishy, feels good, nice grip on it. It's not like, you know, it's nothing I'm worried about changing anytime soon. I do think aesthetically, I'll end up changing it to brown to match the saddle and the tan walls. I think that'll look really, really nice. But back to the point I was getting ready to make is, if you're going to spend money on a bike, and I've said this before in videos, but you get a budget bike like this and you may not want to put a lot of money into it, rightfully so. It's $250 out the door, you know? It's very, very budget friendly. But if you are going to spend money on a bike, spend your money wise, and the first things to upgrade are contact points. There are only a few points where your body touches a bike: pedals, grips, saddle. If you are unhappy with any of those contact points, those are the first things you're gonna wanna change. So keep that in mind while you ride this bike. I've been riding mine around town and realized really quick that the saddle was just not for me. And after I have now switched my saddle, it is so much better. All right, on the gravel ride. Although the nubs are pretty tightly compacted on these Kenda tires, like it's gripping the soil, the dirt, pretty stinking good. I'm pretty impressed with these stock tires. They're doing pretty good. I wasn't sure how they were going to be doing on this trail, just because they didn't look like they'd be super grippy, because they're not very aggressive, but honestly, they're pretty nice. I'm pretty impressed with them. I've seen people complain about the brakes being squeaky. I will say they are definitely a little squeaky, I'm noticing. That could just be a brake pad material situation. So definitely riding trails on hoods is throwing me off a little bit. First time I've ever really done this. This bike honestly feels really nice. I really like it. Even on some of these like little, oh, it's just a little swoopy. Like with the saddle the height I want it for me, it like honestly it doesn't feel too bad. Being the setup this is, I'm noticing like on climbs that might have like some like hairpin turns, or I guess hairpin like climbs, you know what I mean? It's tight corner climb. It's a little twitchy. I'm guessing that's just because of it being a gravel bike. It is what it is. I wonder if the handlebars were a little wider, if that would fix that. It's not bad by any means, but it's just catching me off guard a little bit, which again might just be because I don't really ever ride gravel bikes, like in the sense of like drop bars on trails. If I'm riding trails, I'm typically riding my mountain bike. It's shifting pretty good still, which is good. I'm pretty much staying in my smaller cog in the front for gravels or for the trail. Obviously I'm not going super fast, so I don't need that bigger cog. So kind of makes it more of a reason for me to switch it to 1x up front. Now, if I'm like strictly using this for gravel or road, it would make more sense to keep the 2x doing some work out here. But since I won't be, I have a road bike, so I really have no reason for this to stay as a road bike.
I do have a set of 650B tires that I may end up throwing on this if I could figure it out. The rear's a through axle, so that's where the biggest issue is going to be getting it to fit on this, but I'm pretty sure I can change the adapters on the hub, so I think I'll be able to make it work. I'll have to do some investigative work when I get back home. Whoosh. Well, we'll see what happens. Woo-hoo. Some Rudy droppy fun. Go to the left. Crazy over here. Definitely breaking.
I have just gotten back in from my ride, and honestly, this bike did pretty good on single track. I wouldn't say this bike is for single track, but it can do pretty tame trails. Those trails aren't super crazy. They're a little rooty in some spots, but if you just have some nice dirt single track trails, green trails, this thing will do absolutely fine on them. And it was shifting fine, it rode fine, and definitely the upgraded saddle, the pedals, the saddle's way better than what the stock one was. I don't know what it was with that stock saddle, but it was just no good for me. So that made a huge difference, made a big difference. So like the entire time I'm thinking about this bike and like trying to process my feelings and opinion over the bike, it's why is this bike being talked about right now? Like what is going on with this bike that is so big? In the budget bike community, I mean, like it is causing like an uproar almost. It's like people are looking for it, they're wanting it. People are dogging it left and right as well. Like it's from Walmart, so it's crap. Spend a little bit more money, buy used, that kind of a scenario. And like when you think about this bike at the price, there's just nothing else in the category. There is nothing that I can think of that is $250 that is as nice built as this with drop bars. And I mean, just overall, this is a really good value. For what you get, it's nice. If you are a new rider or even a seasoned rider who does primarily mountain bike trails and you're looking for something to be able to do road or gravel, this is it. I mean, for the price and what you get, I just honestly cannot think of another bike that comes close to this. And that's gotta be why so many people are talking about it. Just overall, it's a very nice bike for the price. Now, it has its faults, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's nothing that is like a deal breaker in my opinion. I mean, some people don't like the freewheel, okay. Some people don't like the square taper because it's heavy, okay. It works though, that's the thing. Like the sum of its parts, this bike is just a good functioning bike. Now, I'm sure there are bad apples just like everything. Maybe someone's, headset got crushed in shipping or something like that, but I was fortunate enough to get it in good condition. It out of the box was shifting pretty well great for me, so I had to tighten the cable a few turns, like 3 clicks, and it was shifting perfect. So overall, I mean, this bike is just really nice. I was very impressed with the tires and the way they gripped. I mean, it was a nice ride. It was kind of different for me because I've not really ridden trails with hoods before, so it's kind of just an entirely different scenario, but this is a nice bike. If you're in the market for a form of a road bike or gravel bike that you're looking for, I mean, if this bike fits you, I'd say go for it. I'm not sure what size the small will fit in the sense of height, but this bike, I'm 5 foot 10 inches, 32-inch inseam. This medium, the 50-centimeter frame, fits me about perfect. I'm very happy. There's nothing in the sense of adjustments or fitting that I need to do to make it fit me better. So, I don't know. It's a nice bike. So, got a couple upgrades planned. If there's anything you would like me to do or you'd like to see, put them down in the comments, please, so I can see them. But other than that, thank you everyone for tuning in, and until next time, everybody take care.